All right, it's time to get started. Are you ready to learn from the master himself? Well, he's here. He's sitting right next to me. So, Kevin.
Hey,
man,
Anik, great to be here, man.
Thank you for being here.
I'm excited.
Look at this. We got the man himself, $5 billion, just sitting right in front of me. That's awesome. So, Kevin, you know, I've heard this term being used before. I use it. The entrepreneur of entrepreneurs. I mean, someone who started very young and has just done tremendous things in your career. You were telling me earlier about just your exposure in the world. That's what the influence, the exposure, and then of course the sales. But it all comes, I mean, how did it start?
Yeah, so great question. And I go all the way back. I'm going to go back to when I was 11 years old. Okay, so we're going to take a few years now. But I grew up one of 6 kids, nice family. My father was an entrepreneur. So I was very lucky because he owned restaurants. And when I was 11, I was actually working 40 hours. So I grew up in a small town in Ohio and brothers and sisters. And so he wanted me to be an entrepreneur. So when I was 15, I started a driveway sealing business because in the wintertime, if you had a crack in your driveway, that water would turn to ice and it would expand the crack.
Yep.
So I would seal the cracks, beautify the driveway, and that was when I was 15 years old. So by then I already had 4 years of sort of business experience working inside my father's restaurants, but he would teach me the entrepreneurial things that were happening inside there. You know, people that were stealing, you know, the bus boys were stealing steak knives and the cook was stealing steaks, you know, so, and I'm like, wow, this is a tough business, but he wanted me to see what it's like to be an owner, right?
So you had exposure early on.
Early on,
That's
yeah.
great.
And then, of course, I then got into, I was in high school, and as I got into college, I started a heating and air conditioning business because driveway sealing was just in the summer. Okay. I said, what's year round? Well, furnaces and air conditioning. So that's how that came about, right? Okay. But that grew to $1 million in sales when I was in college with 25 employees. And this is back in the 70s. So in today's dollars, that would be about $5 million a year. So I had a nice little business in college. And then I sold the heating and air conditioning company because it was very labor intensive. And I wanted to focus on something that had more of an entrepreneurial, explosive opportunity, right? Yeah. So I got a license to sell real estate as well as businesses. And, and so I became a business broker and a real estate broker. And we started selling businesses, primarily pizza parlors, restaurants, delicatessens, flower shops, laundromats.
All kinds of businesses.
Everything you can think of, yeah. So we had 200 listings of small companies. Wow. And we would not only sell the business, but we said, well, you need insurance, you need accounting, you need advertising, graphics, logos, maybe some new menus if you're a restaurant owner. And so we assembled all these people on the same floor. I leased the whole floor of the office building and rented out space to all these experts. And we called that the Small Business Center. Okay. And so now for a period of years, I was selling businesses, investing in them, partnering with them. I would sometimes say, I'll help you, because someone would buy a business and then they were like struggling. And so I would come in and I'd say, well, you need to do this and this and this. And I started getting all this kind of experience.
So it gave you huge exposure in just the world of entrepreneurship.
In the world of entrepreneurship. Yeah. So then one day I'm watching TV and I just got cable television and Discovery Channel was on, and all of a sudden the show was over, and then these colored bars came up on the screen. And I'm watching, and found out, I didn't watch all 6 hours, but I found out for 6 hours, colored bars were on the screen. So I called the cable company and I said, there's some problem on Discovery, because I went to the other channels, there was no other problem with the other channels. I said, Discovery's not coming through. They said, oh, it's only an 18-hour-a-day network. So I said to myself, you mean 6 hours a day? That's what I'm going to see? They said, yeah. Discovery's a new channel. They don't have the funding to go 24 hours a day. So I went and met with the cable company, and I said, can I put some programming on that downtime, that, you know, those colored bars time? And they said, certainly. And so that's how I started the infomercial business. And this was 1984. So I started with a half hour a day, an hour a day, then we got to 6 hours a day. Then I went to the National Discovery Channel, and all of a sudden we were beaming all these products and services, And actually, in the early days, we also sold businesses on, in the local level. So that
on the infomercial.
On the infomercial, yeah,
Wow.
we would do a show that was the Own Your Own Business show, and we'd feature a bunch of businesses for sale, and so
Wow.
this was the birth really of what we call the infomercial industry, but it led to products with Tony Little and the fitness guy doing the Gazelle, and Jack LaLanne and the juicer, George Foreman, Billy Mays, some of the old-time guys that you see on TV. So, that's when I really started getting into this whole product world. So that was when it became explosive.
That's incredible. I mean, we're literally talking to the person who invented the infomercial. So is it you, but wait, there's more?
Well, so that's a great story. So along the way, one of my mentors was Zig Ziglar. And Zig Ziglar, one of the most amazing motivational guys, as well as probably the greatest sales trainer in the world, right? He wrote the book Secrets of Closing the Sale. And so I'm listening to Zig, and we had a problem in selling sometimes, and this is why I learned from Zig. When you're on TV, you're not in front of the person, so you don't know what the objection is. They're sitting there talking to their TV like, oh, the price is too high, I'm not gonna buy that. Well, we don't know that because we're just producing these. So what Zig said is, if your sales aren't high enough, there's some kind of a value problem to the price. So you don't know what they're saying, so let's try price. So we got to the end of the show, we said, okay, it's $29.95, but wait, we've got a few more things we're gonna give you, right? And that, we're gonna give you this. If you order now, you'll also get this, and you'll also get this, because we didn't want value to be the obstacle, right? So we said we have to overcome price as an objection. So instead of 30% of the calls converting, we took it to 70% conversion with enough other value, and that ultimately became, but wait, there's more. So everyone knows that one, and it's a classic. So
it's carried over to a whole new medium though now. Right?
Exactly.
So you were saying how when you're on a television, you don't know if someone is, they might not buy because of the price.
Right.
Same issue with the internet.
Exactly.
Right? You're not in front of them. There's thousands of people potentially seeing your offer at one time.
Yep.
And so we created this whole bonus run.
The bonus run.
There's the bonus run. So you add bonus, and that is but wait, there's more.
There's absolutely.
So it's amazing. So a lot of the concepts, this is the part I love about this. Infomercials, they literally give us the outline, the framework, the foundation, the skeleton of what we use, whether we're on the internet, whether we're on TV, whether we're face-to-face. It's the same concepts there. So let me ask you something. Now I addressed this in the first video, and I said every entrepreneur has to be able to sell. And the word sell has taken this, kind of meaning that makes people very uncomfortable sometimes.
Yeah.
How do you talk to someone who says, God, I'm afraid of selling? What do you say to them?
Well, I say, are you afraid of making money? I mean, come on now. I mean, how big is the house you live in? Do you want a bigger home, or a nicer car, or something like, or do you want to send your kids to a better school? Okay, so I mean, look, everything is selling at the end of the day. I don't care if a mother is going to the PTA meetings, she's selling her point, right? So in the world that we live in, selling on TV, selling on the internet, and now my world is morphed to the internet too, because TV viewership is now dropping. So, what have I done? As people are watching less TV, especially the millennials, the younger kids, where have they gone? Well, they went to Facebook, they went to Instagram, so we have to follow the eyeballs. So now we do, and like you said, you're doing on the internet these value packs. Well, but wait, there's more, in adding more value, or these bonus packs, right? So selling is so important, because if you're a secretary working for someone and you want to get moved up the ladder, you have to sell yourself and sell why you're a value to the company, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, I think ultimately, in my world, we develop these systems and these formulas to sell, because if you're watching, let's put it this way, nobody tunes into a 30-minute infomercial and says, I want to watch 30 minutes of a commercial right now, right?
Unless you're a marketer.
Yeah, unless you're
watching it to learn from it. but
Okay,
yeah,
so I mean,
absolutely.
because we've got to hook you. There's a whole series of things, and I know we're going to be talking about some of
Yeah.
that today here. But
Yeah.
there is a system and a secret formula to making the sale.
Couldn't agree more. Amazingly said. So look, even he said it. Even Kevin Harrington said what I said. You've got to learn to do this. You have to be able to sell it, whether it's an idea, your message, or whatever. We're going to talk a little bit more about this. I'm going to bring some questions and concerns that come up around the concept of selling in the next video. So we're going to keep moving forward. All right. So if you're committed to this, eventually we are coming really close to the 3-step formula. This is going to be a major breakthrough. So this is Onyx Singhal here with Kevin. We'll see you in the next video.